Hey, hey, hey! Scary today. Apparently, I'm going to be a kitty cat today. I accidentally hit the button, so I'm like, let's go with it. We haven't had a kitty cat mask for a really long time. Today is day 300, and I didn't write it in my book. That's why I'm struggling. 394 or 16 of starting over at the beginning of the book. Do one thing a day that scares you to stretch our comfort zone. Every day, last year I committed to myself that every day during the year, and I didn't start on the 1st, but I think I started on the 4th, I would go through this little journal book and I would do something and share something selfishly to help me get over my fear of doing Facebook Lives. And that turned into helping me just get out of the rut that I was living in and to expand my life and to live, more in line with who I really am, not who I'd kind of let myself become by living in this terrible rut. What they say about a rut, it's just a grave with the ends kicked out. And I found myself really being a prime example of that. And so I committed to doing this book every day. Did it every day till the end of the year. And then I realized, okay, well, I'm not done with the book yet, so let's keep going. And when I was to the end of the book, I realized that I hadn't started at the beginning of the book. I started about 30 pages in because I had started this book before. It's not the first time I wanted to expand my comfort zone and personally grow. It was, like the 7th or 8th time that I tried or began this purposeful process of going through a book or a tool that could help me stretch my comfort zone on purpose a little bit every single day. So today it would be day 16 from the beginning of the book and day 394 from the total daily scare share. So today, what have we got? We've actually got a sayings day, and what's interesting is I left 2 blank pages when I did this for some reason, and I'm trying to figure out, it doesn't look like I missed them. When I stopped doing this the first time, it was when my father became very ill, and we found out that we didn't know what was wrong with him when I stopped doing it, but we knew there was something really seriously wrong. It was right after his birthday, his 80th birthday, and he had had a really hard time at his birthday, and so he was down at Mayo, and we ended up finding out that he had brain cancer and that he probably wasn't going to make it. And it was about just over a month later that he did pass away. So they were right. But it was a really tough time. And so I wasn't focused on myself, and I stopped doing the book. So this is the first, actually it's the second time I stopped doing the book. I stopped in September, and when my box went off, my ICD, and then I stopped again when we found out my father was so ill. My sister came and stayed with me from Texas, and a whole series of events happened. It was a very, really trying, very dramatic, very tough time for my family and for myself. My dad, actually my grandpa had passed away, and we were close to him, but it's nothing like losing your parent. I don't think you can understand or relate to that until it actually happens to you. I know I always thought I was trying to be empathetic with people and sympathetic with them when they lost a parent or somebody really close to them, but I didn't get it. I didn't honestly know what it felt like until I experienced that and went through that myself. So that was the first time I stopped doing it. But somehow I had missed these pages when I picked up doing it again. So it's just a story from the past, and it's really interesting to go back and see where I was, almost 5 years ago when I was going through some, what my thought process was. It's really eye-opening because it shows, yeah, I quit doing things in the past, but I've always quit for a very purposeful reason. I haven't just quit for the sake of quitting, because it felt like that when I was paging through, and I'm like, well, Jesus, I just, quit doing this like 6 or 7 times. That's ridiculous. That's not like me. But every time it shows us that things happen in our life that change our trajectory, change our course, change what's important to us at any given time. So today is a sayings day. I love the sayings days. And it says, my favorite thing is to go where I've never been. And it was said by Diane Arbus. So our challenge today says, today I went somewhere new. Now, I'm supposed to go to the cardiologist today and get a device check. That's not new. I've been there since 2010. I don't know how many times. A lot. I only go once a year now because my health is good and I've got my little insurance policy, but they like to check my little insurance policy at least once a year. It used to be every few months, and then it was every 6 months, and now it's just once a year. And mostly I think they're just checking for battery life to see when I'm going to have surgery and have it replaced. Because the interesting thing about ICDs is the batteries don't last forever, although technologically I guess they're studying that. And I was hoping that I could get a smaller one. Right after I got mine, they had an article in the newspaper about they were developing one the size of a quarter. And then a while later, I remember reading that they were putting in like self-generating batteries so that your heart would power and recharge the battery so that you don't have to go back in and have a second surgery and get the battery replaced. So, way too much information, right? Way too much information. Wow. Two of the heaviest things in my life, and I'm talking about them all in one daily scare share video. So, what's your favorite thing? Number one, what's your favorite thing? I love going to new places and experiencing new things. I'm really scared. I admit it. I'm freaking scared to go to new places and scared to experience new things, but I love it. I mean, it's like this love-hate relationship with experiencing new things and going to new places. But I used to have to travel for work a lot. And I learned that if I go early, or if I'm going to a training or a seminar or whatever for my job, I learned that if I went early and I scoped out the event or scoped out the location or made sure I knew where I was going for like a customer meeting or a job interview or whatever it happened to be, that it totally increased my confidence and I wasn't nearly as afraid to go do it as if I just was going in cold and I hadn't gotten there early. For example, last year I went to a marketing conference, and marketing conference, totally outside my comfort zone. Never really been to one before. And so I went a day early and I met some people and I had some great experiences, and it made the event awesome because I knew that even though there were thousands of people there, that I would run into people that I'd already met and already had a good experience with. So that's how I do things to make events and things that are scary for me or situations that are scary for me work in my favor. So do you have things like that you can do? Where would you love to go? Share in the comments below one place that you would love to go that you've never been, but that you would love to go. Me, I want to go to Australia. I've never been to Australia. I want to go to a lot of places that I've never been to. So I would say, I don't know that traveling is one of my favorite things. I like to be home, but that's just me. I am all about comfort, obviously. Robe, pajama grandma, all about comfort and being comfortable. But stretching that comfort zone and doing things that are not comfortable, because I know that's where we grow and that's where we create what it is that we want to create. So, what's one of your favorite things today? And where's a place that you've never been that you want to go or you want to see? Now, it doesn't have to be far away. I live by a place called Crystal Cave. Lived by a place called Crystal Cave the vast majority of my life, like for decades. Never been there. It's within like 45 miles or 45 minutes of where I live, but I've never been there. It's a beautiful place. I love crystals. I've never been there. So I put on my list that I am going to go to Crystal Caves this summer when the weather gets better and Crystal Caves is open again. I am going to go there and check it out because I've always wanted to. I just have never made it a priority. So now I've committed to myself that I am going to go there and I am going to check it out. And I'm probably going to buy some crystals because I love crystals. I love rocks. Rocks and crystals I think are fascinating. So what's something like that? Again, it could be close to home. It might be a park in your same town or in your neighborhood. I lived by a place called the Dike, and I worked, my business was by a place called the Dike for 7 years, and I never once, it was half a block away, I never once walked down the Dike and went there. And then I had my health event, and then after that I went there every single day that I was down at my business. I walked onto the Dike and walked down to the Dike, and it's just a bridge that used to go across the river by where I live, and I loved every minute of every day that I went on that little walk, that little journey, so close to where I'd always been, but I hadn't even noticed it before. So that's it. Have a fabulous, non-scary day, and I will, of course, be with you tomorrow. Don't be scared. You got this. Bye.